channel. This is Dr. Aigen Shaheen. I hope you're doing well. So in this video, this is going to be my third video about this Jiang. Jiang, I think this is how you pronounce it. And I'm not, as I told you, I had a feeling and I knew that this person is not a professor. I mentioned this multiple times. And apparently, yeah, I'm telling you, whatever I say, right, whatever I say, it's always accurate. Apparently, he is not a professor. So we will talk today about this guy and what he actually does in the United States of America, what his purpose is, and also I would like to one more time warn you about what this whole thing is about and why we as Americans must wake up before it's too late. And the second part of this live stream will be to give you one more time examples of other countries who already passed through the identical textbook towards ending a country's and peoples of the country's freedom. We are heading like full speed towards it, and we must be aware and awake of what's going on before it's too late. And I told you, I've been living in countries, and I am telling you, United States of America has a group of people who are still powerful. And that's what I love about American people compared to other countries. Trust me on this one, because even this week we had multiple examples how the people win and win again over governments, even local governments, and even against Meta, against Google. Like, you can't make this stuff up, because we are in those times where we, the people, has power, okay? And this is why I would like to give you one more time examples what other countries went through and they failed the test. This is now American people's test. Will we, all of us, will be so awake and smart to not fall into this bullshit, especially for people like Jiang, who comes in and out of nowhere gets this popularity because of some bullshit he's talking about. And we will get to that. And before we do, if you are here, if you're new, welcome. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and share with me your comments, share with all of us your comments. And this is a space for critical thinking, analysis of socio-psychological and socio-political analysis with great minds and people who are knowledgeable, who come together and think critically and analyze. This is what we need, guys. This is what we need more of. So like, subscribe, and share, and let's do it. Okay? Awesome. So now, again, I told you this is my third video about Jiang. I talked about him. Thanks for the like. I appreciate it. So I talked about him in the other live streams, but I haven't had a chance to clip them out and to just show it to you one more time in your face. So I hope you can re-watch my live streams, okay? That's what they're for. And that's why I have always the timestamps. So I told you in the very first analysis of Jiang, remember, I'm not saying professor, because he is not a professor. I told you in the first video that this is not a professor. A professor would never talk like this, ever. I mean, listen, I have been in the faculty, I have a faculty and in multiple countries. I'm an academician, okay, or I have been. And so I know what a professor looks like. This is not a professor. And today, I cannot make this stuff up. I saw ladies. So I will link to you 2 channels, about actually 3 channels, awesome channels that one lady I saw, and she literally dissected, and she is Chinese American, and she literally dissected this guy, okay? And she actually again said he's not a professor. I'm like, duh, we knew, right? We knew he's not a professor. He's an educator. He is an educator, not a professor. And I'm pissed so much when people who have no degree to even just put some titles that they're not qualified at. I'm getting so mad about this because people like us who spend years in like our lives in academia to earn these titles, and then some dudes comes on YouTube and call themselves professor. I mean, I'm just getting so, and then he actually runs by that. He never corrects and said, no, by the way, this is not like, this is my, fan YouTube title. It's not an actual professor. No, he does. If he doesn't correct that, that's actually not, I mean, I don't know if it's illegal or anything. At least it's not ethical. It's 1000% not ethical. Say, for example, you don't have a PhD, you don't have an MD, and you walk around and say, I'm a doctor. This is freaking dangerous, okay? And also unethical. You don't do that. So when he comes on, and again, we will talk about the Tucker thing, right? Okay. But also, what I'm most pissed about is he comes at breaking point. Like how low can you sink at breaking points when Sagar and Crystal invites him? And they did not, until today, I just checked before the live stream, still did not correct or reduce or remove even like the gigantic professor. He is, and nobody, Sagar is so keen to always present like, oh, I'm this journalist or whatever. I have been in this White House and journalist, and I was in a journalist room. Did you do some research before you bring him on the show? And not even say, by the way, you're not a professor. Where the heck does this title come from? No, they still have the gigantically written professor. He is not a professor. Number one. So, number two, why on earth is he suddenly so famous, like out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere? He has apparently 20 million subscribers. And guess what? Who knew that this guy's YouTube channel, who comes across as anti-China, is actually operating from China? Did you know that? Did you know that? I didn't know. This is what I learned. I will link that lady's video down below. I linked 3 channels that I would like you to also watch. Cavanical is the one that already did 7 or 8 videos on this, and he's awesome. He just he's a historian and he covers so awesome things. So I will link his video again, his channel. And then the first time I watched this lady, so I will link that video down here. Also, I will link later one channel I will absolutely want you to follow. They do journalism that no other channel would ever come even close. You will hear things that no other channel would ever cover. Those are so important, and we'll link this also below. I forgot what the channel's name called, but it's like independent news and very, very like news that nobody talks about ever. Okay, so very, very important. And yeah, and the latest one of them is I just also watched an hour ago, was about, you know, that war and what Saudi's stake is in actually this war. It's not just Israel, but it's also Saudi. I mean, don't even get me started with Saudi, okay? I mean, they milk the Muslim, like the Islam, so bad because Mecca is there. And I know I have multiple people's relatives who went, become, you know, the pilgrimage for Mecca, and they milk the tourism like a maniac, okay? And the influence, because they hate Iran, right? The Arabs hate Iran. They're like absolutely hate each other. And that's why they have their stake too. And why? I mean, Trump is like a complete, like a peon, right? So everybody plays on all levels. Israel plays them, MBS plays him, and they get enrich themselves through Saudi. It's just insane. So I will link that video, the channel also over there, and you can just like mind blown by it. So come back to that. This guy's YouTube channel operates apparently from Beijing. This guy is a Canadian, but Beijing originated from Beijing. And he actually is an educator and has done a lot of education. And then also this lady asked, why on earth did he become suddenly so famous, like out of nowhere? And what I mentioned in my videos is the bullshit he's talking about has nothing to do with any history, not even close. And I told you, and then when a lady said that, I'm like, oh my God, I already mentioned that, because I said in my video that he said actually, and I showed that to you in the video, in the last live stream, I showed the video where he literally said that communism and capitalism are friends. Who would say that, right? Who on this clear mind would ever say that? Who has a little bit of understanding of history, of politics, of economics, right? Of who would say that? Nobody. And then apparently to his story is that this guy was an educator in I mean, I have to watch that latest video because she brought in the history of how these type of influencers develop in China. So before him there was another Jiang, and this Jiang was in China, was speaking out loud the words that parents would like to hear, like criticism of the Chinese government and what have you. And that's how he became popular, the guy before him. And then after that, it was all sorts of things, and suddenly then he died. And many people believe that he was killed, or etc. Then this guy, out of nowhere, maybe because, in my opinion, maybe because he wanted to be that famous as this guy, as the other guy, because he became like a national sensation out of like the entire China was like, oh my God, he's like our hero, like he speaks our language, right? And so I guess the other Jiang then, after the first one died, wanted to become famous as this one. So, and then he started to also speak this kind of like anti-government kind of talking points. And then guess what? And then he went to, I don't know, Canada, and then he got his, I don't know, degree in Yale or something. And then apparently he was arrested by Chinese government. So he was arrested, And after he was arrested, then somehow, this lady says, somehow he was able to open this brand new channel from China, from Beijing, and talk about anti-Chinese talking points that would in turn would be aligning with some parts of the American people who would be against the government and these talking points. Because what would China want? China would want America to fall, correct? Of course he would say. I mean, it's not like he's this ultra genius that he predicted, oh, we will go to war. I literally said on live stream on February 16, 2025, that this war will happen next year. And we just have a preview, which was, we were close. And I literally said next year. I said it even to the day when this war would happen, and it did. So you don't have to be genius to predict that we would go into the war. I mean, duh, right? And also, you wouldn't be so super smart to predict that America will completely fail. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this to many people overseas. I kept saying, if the United States would do anything with Iran, as I mentioned like multiple times, Iran would do this, okay? Because Iran is not Venezuela. Iran is Iran, okay? And if you know anything about Iran, their scientists, their engineers are just off the scale. Do you even know Iranian? I keep saying this for decades. Iranian dentists, medical doctors, engineers are like off the scale. And so if you think about it, if you know anything about geopolitics or politics or history at all, then it's not a rocket science to predict that the United States would absolutely not win this war. Like, what are we talking about? Of course. I mean, what? We are talking about Iran, and every single person in the United States had said MAGA and the left or Democrat, whatever. It's not even left, but you know what I mean, right? Both alike said it would be detrimental if the United States would go into war with Iran. And so if you think that, it's not rocket science to predict that. And to put this guy as in like a position of predicting the future is absurd, especially if he is the propaganda machine of absolutely denial of the Holocaust. Like, are you kidding? And then, oh, this poor Hitler, he didn't want to kill anybody. Are you insane? Like, are you actually insane? Like, if this guy is walking around like this and you still think that anything that comes out of this guy's mouth is somehow of, oh my God, applaud. Applaud for what? It shows how stupid, dumb you are, that you have even no clue about anything. If you are acknowledging him because it fits your propaganda, then you acknowledging that he is a propaganda machine. That's what you're acknowledging, because that's who he is. And this lady said, and I totally agree, this is 2026. And if you know anything about Russia and obviously Israel and obviously China. I mean, what? Do you even follow the news? Like, can you even just cannot put two and two together? I mean, China, they're not doing anything absurd. They're just sneak in with technology. TikTok. I've said TikTok the first day it came into the United States. It was like this TikTok, and I said to the day I have not a TikTok account. Why? Because I mean, since when is TikTok alive? For years, yeah. So if this Jiang dude predicts in 2024, I'm asking you, since when is TikTok alive? I'm saying since then, I said I will never, ever will have a TikTok account because this is a Chinese spying app. Full stop. Apparently, the US government agreed on that, but it still was somehow allowed. Do you know how much they spy on you with TikTok? Now, after the TikTok, it then been sold to another propaganda machine. Now it's another propaganda machine. That's what it is. It's 2026. What do you expect? Do you expect like in the Byzantine Empire and the Ottoman Empire and they're like, we all just like have our swords in our hands and then we just like, or even like bombing? No. They're just doing the spying for decades. With technology, with spies, with agents. I mean, do you even follow the news? Can you not put two and two together? And now, I mean, these influencers, right? They use what? Okay, they're like, okay, I'm quitting now TikTok. But let me do all these YouTube videos with what? CapCut. CapCut. Whose company is CapCut? CapCut is a Chinese company. And how many millions of billions even YouTubers out there? And imagine how many millions CapCut is using. Okay. Then you have to be thinking and understanding when people using CapCut, it's the same with TikTok. It's another Chinese spy technology. So what are we talking about? If you ever follow the news, this is 2026 with all the technology and no one, I have not heard anyone talking about CapCut. CapCut is another TikTok. It's spying, Chinese spying technology, which millions and millions of people use. YouTuber influencers. So, having said all of that, again, why would he out of the sudden speak and become so... He wanted to be popular, like the other Jiang. He died, and then this guy, and then after somehow he got arrested, then he suddenly made this YouTube channel out of Beijing and influencing American politics, American people. This is the textbook of manipulation. This is the textbook manipulation. And watch the timeline. Watch the timeline. Everyone's talking about the elections. And now let's talk then about our actual elections and how these people in the government want to have our freedom taken away from us. Why? Because this is the agenda to begin with. Trump doesn't care. Trump only cares about the money he makes in behind the scenes. That's what he cares about. He doesn't care about crap, okay? That agenda is not Trump's agenda. He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For them, it's important that they keep him happy because to polish his narcissism is to, yeah, you will be king. Yeah, you will be a king. That's how they manipulate him. But then, on the other hand, the Heritage Foundation's agenda is to bring, and I don't know if you don't know, watch the news ever, this week in the United Nations, when they put the declaration that slavery is anti-human. In that declaration, and that was set forth by Ghana, and everyone, I mean, nobody talks about this. I follow this stuff, okay? Nobody talks about this, but United States and Israel voted against that. Let me repeat this. The United Nations Declaration says slavery is anti-human. Okay? And United States and Israel have voted against this declaration. Did that sink in? Is there anything else you need to say about this? What do you need to say more about this? It tells you that's what it is. This is what it is. We are heading towards this 250 years of independence. And I'm telling you, after 250 years with blood and tears and sweat, this independence, this invaluable independence has been achieved by the founding fathers. They would turn around upside down in their graves of what's happening right now. They would probably say that's not why we died for. We died for freedom. We died for freedom for the people. We the people. No more kings. No more queens. No more, I don't know. It's freedom for the people. That's what their founding fathers have fought for and died for. They would turn around in their graves when they see in the 250 years anniversary of the United States is straight up heading towards slavery, which they declared and voted no in the United Nations of this declaration this week. Nobody talks about this, but that's what's happening. And if you still think that these types of propaganda machines in this absolutely critical elections, during this time when this guy is so popular and feeding the Chinese propaganda by saying, oh, Hitler didn't want to kill anybody. Hitler didn't want to hurt anybody. Then You've got to be waking up. And let me give you examples one more time and over again. Let me tell you, and I have, when I'm saying this, one country in my mind. I told you this last time. And this country's leaders are up there for 25, 30 years. Slowly but surely, and slowly and slowly and slowly, they will manipulate the people so much. And I'm telling you, not straightforward way, polishing, kind of smoothing everybody very gently. And the first part, it's presenting with some, I don't know, bridges and roads and, I don't know, schools and developments and housing, new houses. They will polish people's eyes. Then, slowly and surely, the TV series, movies will change. Slowly but surely. More and more, because as you know, movies, TV shows, they're all propaganda machines, okay? You can manipulate the crap out of people as you like with these movies, with these television shows. Then these television shows completely change their tone, integrate much more brutality, boom, 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 abuse. I don't know, everybody's with everybody, if you know what I mean. And then inter-family relationships, like ethics, zero. And corruption, mafia, killings, and abuse, and children abuse, and all of that. This will be integrated more and more into the mainstream, like slowly but surely. And then these series would get awards worldwide. They will be sold. The production will be made so professional with so much money, and will be sold worldwide. They will become so popular. And then everything is suddenly normalized, and these TV stars will be so popularized, and the topic will be so normal. And then in the news will more and more will become kind of bought in the government. Why? Because they get threat. Does it now start to be sounds familiar? The media, the news will get threat, news channels, so that they have to kind of do what the government says, and more of these news channels become the asset of the government. And then most of them will also lose their jobs, and they will even jailed. And then more and more, and this goes year by, this is now the second and third administration, by the way, okay? It's just slowly. And then meanwhile, a lot of surveillance starts. And surveillance everywhere, meaning even if you do a peep thing, you will have to give your social security number. In every shit you do, they will ask for your social security number. They will ask for your credentials. They will ask you for everything. Even if you call your government, local government, and say, here, I don't know, the trash is just, can you pick up the trash, or what's going on here? What's your social security number? Your ID, social security number, first name, last name, everything is collected for years. Every single data point. Then the healthcare will be centralized, meaning, and it goes all into one slot in the government. With your login, your government ID, government, everything, government, social security. Imagine you have a healthcare portal that you log in with your government social security number. I mean, can you even imagine this? This is happening, and this is where it is. This is what it is. Okay? And then imagine Meta has all your data points, right? A decade ago, 15 years ago, Meta had for one single person 13,000 data points. And at that time, Meta was used by, that time Facebook, by 2 billion people on this earth. Now, imagine for one single person, 13,000 data points, which I talked for a decade about this multiple times, and multiply this by 2 billion. Do you now understand why Meta is so rich? Okay, the same thing with these governments. They have multiple angles, your data point. Dann coveted. Nice. Not, I said it then, I'm still saying it then. Awesome surveillance. Okay, awesome surveillance. Now, then you have that type of surveillance. It happened to me, and that's what, I mean, this is all I'm saying this to you. I saw it, I lived it, I experienced it, I saw it with my own eyes, own ears. That's why I'm saying this so clearly. If this doesn't wake you up, I don't know what does. And then the news. I will tell you how the news will look like. It's, I mean, if you still don't make any correlations, I don't know what's happening here. But let me tell you, it will be more and more brutality, screaming, non-stop, like this person killed this person killed this person, screaming, women scream, children scream, people kill each other, people get angry at each other. This become the, what's the 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. news slot, right? This non-stop. And then this type of screaming and killing and screaming will be displayed over and over and over and over again. So much so, over the years, I mean, if you know anything about mental health, imagine that you open your television and you just hear people screaming non-stop, in pain, in agony, the person's child died or was killed and whatever the heck. Do you now understand also why in this country, in the United States, so much these criminal true crime channels are like making money like a maniac, and there's even obsession with this true crime niche? Why? Because this is addictive. The negativity is addictive and raise so much stuff in your brain chemistry, and it destroys your brain, your mental health. No wonder why do you think out of the sudden so many, which I always talk on my channel, so many psychologists are everywhere? So many social workers. And I always do this because it's actually this, like the professor that is not even a professor. Do you understand? Because people are that type of distress, non-stop, 24/7, and the news doesn't stop at 10. It goes, even the movies, the TV shows goes on until 12 a.m., 1 a.m., non-stop. People are awake watching the stuff. I know because I saw. And then this distress and also the constant news about brainwash about, oh my God, these neighbors fought with each other about a parking spot, and then that person killed the other person, and then people screaming. And then this turned into anxiety, social anxiety, meaning everything you do, you are afraid and not rather do it. You rather not bother with the parking lot. You rather bother not to say anything to the government. You bother not to say anything to, I don't know, anybody, anywhere, not talking up, not speaking out because you get tortured from left and right. Does this start more and more sound familiar? You get dehumanized, you get humiliated, and you no longer are able to share your opinions because you are like screamed at. And the polarization is like become more and more like in anger. In the past, in that country, you easily could have talked about politics and you could discuss politics, whatever side you were at. But then it turns into like they hate each other and that person killed each other. This is now hopefully starting to become more familiar. This is very bulldozering, entering into full speed. This is the textbook of dictatorship. Full stop. Full stop. And this is everything. If you still couldn't make the analogy from each other, then let me give you example. This Epstein files, why do you think suddenly they're out? Because of the law? Screw that. Excuse me, I'm really sorry, but these lawmakers are not brand new there. Don't even get me started, okay? These victims, we're talking for 1 freaking year to get attention. I mean, just 1 year to talk with the FBI or the DOJ, but before then, for a decade or more, they were talking about this. So just because, bravo, right? Messi and Rokana, yeah, nice, great. But you're not new here. These victims are not brand new. So what are we talking about, okay? And so, meaning, all of this is so disturbing, and they literally dumped it to the people, right? They dumped at us with zero reduction of but this is freaking purposeful. You went through, let me tell you this, you went through all of them and redacted the ones of the influenced people, and then you unreducted all the rest. Doesn't this sound purposeful? Meaning all the destroying, these horrendous videos and pictures and all that stuff from victims and all that horrendous stuff that's going on. But the influencing people, they're just like complete reducted. Why? Because people are like, what is happening? And while the people are like distraught and mentally distressed, all the other shit is happening. You guys deal with this and you will be mentally destroyed. And now you are so seeing the horror that any other horror is so normalized. This is textbook, full speed towards dictatorship. And I'm not telling you from utopia, I'm not telling you from theory. I watched it for 2 freaking decades with my own eyes. And God forbid, because these people over there are so brainwashed, God forbid that I tell them for 2 decades, wake up, wake up, wake up. Every second of this first administration, second term, and the first administration become the second second administration. Then the election get rigged, and the third administration, and the third administration, the same administration will continue, okay? Because they can only allow 2 administrations, and then it's over. But then in the second administration, voila, we changed the constitution. And this is what they're trying to do. Change the constitution so that I can be king forever. It calls democracy. You still can vote, but it doesn't matter because I will put you in jail anyway, because I will be the top all the time. And every single time, every single administration, the judges and the court and will all be filled, even the justice system and the top judiciary, right, in the country, it's all gone. Doesn't matter. And you're so a democracy. Your vote, yeah, but for what? Doesn't matter, because all of them is now gone. On paper, it looks like you are democracy, but you are shit. You are modern dictatorship. And I had warned these people to death in the very beginning. And I saw it from afar, and I said, don't you see it? Like everything becomes like this religious tendencies became more and more like underneath the TV shows, the movies, and then all the religions started to become more like normalized with the gigantic cross that we just saw right here with Levitt and the Pambandi and all that. Like this cross is like on your face right here. Look at it. I can now wear this. It was in the past, was definitely not allowed, but now look at me. I can live my, I don't know, religious beliefs. But it doesn't matter if I wear the cross, because I can easily lie to your face, because apparently that's not as anything to do with religion, because you can lie in people's face, but wear the cross and everything is fine. Doesn't work that way if you know anything about religion, in any religion. Doesn't matter what religion. You cannot lie to people's face through your teeth and then claim, it doesn't matter what kind of gigantic, cross you put on. This is sin, this is sin. That's what it is in every country, in every religion. And this is how the sneakily religion will be influenced so very, very gently. They want to mix church and state. That's exactly what it is, what I'm trying to explain to you. This will be here. This is the initial steps. And I told you, I'm giving you the entire time the example of the other country. And same thing. More and more religious, like, oh, it's so normal, like what you do, what you wear, like religious. Those are 1000% infused in these movies and in these TV shows, and everything becomes so normalized. And then when you look from the afar, and that's why if you haven't watched already, I will link that it also here, the Dangerous Diaspora. That now then comes in, because those diaspora is influenced more radically about this, like radical religious beliefs, radical political beliefs, and they influence more. And then, oh voila, they can vote too. They are influenced by cults, by enormous money, and they collect a lot of money, putting religious beliefs out there, politics, fanaticism out there, gets more and more fanatic, and has nothing to do with that country's living and society or religious beliefs, but now they get influencing more and more the country by allowing them to vote because they are their citizens but living abroad. And this is so dangerous, and it's just so, from all angles, like a playbook designed to influence from all angles. And now let's put 2026 and something like COVID or other types of technology, which I just said, TikTok, CapCut, in those type of technologies. And now with AI, and I even made on my blog Wondershare, right? I made a blog post about Wondershare, which all you have to click and find out. And I will talk more on my AI channel about this, responsible AI channel about this, of technology and all that. But just to give you, again, a TikTok, CapCut, everyone talks about TikTok, but then nobody talks about CapCut. All the influencers using that video editing, because everyone needs video editing. That's Chinese government. Who talks about this? Nobody. Because nobody knows a shit. You need to just know stuff. Just know stuff. I keep telling you, and that's why I push on my channel, knowledge is power. And that's why we have to stop just giving any second of the time, airtime even, to these people who are not even professors. Enough. Enough. And just because he talks the talking points that groups are liking, it's exactly designed this way. This guy operates from Beijing. This guy was detained, and after that he started operating from Beijing with these talking points. If we are so dumb and believing in that, then I don't even know what to say. We have to wake up. We have to wake up. If you still don't believe me, I found this, okay? This is a YouTube video from 2014, okay? 2014. And this is China's super schools. Jiang, I don't know. I don't want to butcher this name. This is this guy, right? Who I have on the thumbnail. So this guy, this video is titled Chinese Super School. China's Super Schools, okay? I found this. June 18, 2014. And then when I clicked on it, I will read the description, okay? Shanghai middle school students have once again ranked top in the PISA assessment of math, science, and reading. So are Chinese schools more effective educators? If so, why do Chinese parents send their kids abroad to study in droves? For the answers to these and other questions, Fergus Thompson talks to Jiang Quicken, author of Creative China, and a veteran of many years teaching in some China's most elite schools. So this guy is 1000% believing in, and there's even one about this empowerment and creative China and creative Chinese schools and empowerment. This is who this guy is, okay? And once again, we do not need anyone to tell us that, oh, America will lose this war. America will go into the war. This is not rocket science. I have been saying this for years. This is not rocket science. And this is why I'm telling you, watch closely. And in order to you to be able to, he does it very, like he's an educator. He educated in top schools in China, top elite, most elite schools in China. He won multiple awards in education. He's an educator. And funny enough, if you notice, whenever he talks bullshit, notice his speed, but nobody talks about this. And because on my channel, I talk about behavior analysis, okay? Social psychological analysis. And literally, the day after I saw his video, there was a scientific article about the speed of your speech and manipulation. I kid you not. And think about every time when he talks, he's like runs over so much that he stumbles upon his words. But sometimes he talks slowly. He talks so fast that he stumbles upon his own words. And guess what? Now, after my video, I don't want you to watch any of his videos. I do not watch any of his videos anymore. I only watched 2 and it's enough. Don't give more YouTube algorithm on this. Whenever he talks bullshit, and he knows that's bullshit, and that's the manipulation technique tip, like what he will want to say, he speeds up so fast, like you don't even understand what he's talking about, because he knows that's this propaganda machine. But when he talks actually historical or something that's factually accurate, he so slowly talks in that way that you can understand what he's saying. That's manipulation tactics. And I'm telling you one more time, after he got arrested in China, then after that he became operational of YouTube channel from China, talking against China from China. This doesn't make any shit sense at all. So wake up and understand that we are better than this. China would never, and they do this for decades, I'm telling you, with technology and now with AI, with apps, applications. Samsung, like, where do I want me to go further? Television, like, I don't know, old technologies that we use in our households. Everything is made in China. Like, what else what are we talking about? I mean, it's known fact that Samsungs are listening to us, even if you don't use any app. It's silent over there and it records everything you talk. So, that's a known fact. It's manufactured that way. And so that's why we have to be so consciously open our eyes and ears and watch and listen closely what the heck these people are talking about. If he came out of nowhere and suddenly become so popular and talking like the points that everyone wants to hear and listen, there's no 1000%, there's no doubt about this. And I'll give you an example. Very easy, super easy example. I like to simplify it so that you can better understand. My YouTube channel is 3,000 subscribers. I talk about things that people don't want to hear because either it's difficult to hear or it's inconvenient to hear or it is, some efforts you have to put in to apply, because I say open a goddamn book or study neuroscience and work on yourself, be smart, be educated, open a book, be healthy. These are it's rather listen to some dude who tells me what to think. It's easy that way. I don't want to work on myself. This is a lazy generation. This is a lazy times. Screw that. Who wants to work on that? Who wants to open a book? I can just Google it, whatever. And now AI already summarizes everything. I don't even need to read the article. I don't even need to go to school anymore. It doesn't matter. Because of course, it's all the billionaire influencer says to me, what doesn't matter? Why do you go to school? You will drop off from college anyway to become a billionaire. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. Look at Bill Gates. They all dropped from college. This is agenda, okay? Why? I keep talking about for decades with my dad about this every single day. The cultism, the radicalism, the dictatorship requires you to be dumb. It requires you to be dumb to be able to follow these people. The cult leaders, the politicians, they want dumb people. Even the billionaires, the high influencers, they tell you, okay, you know what? You don't even need to be smart. Use my technology. I will summarize this for you. And you're like, oh my God, yeah, absolutely. No. You need to be smart and go to school so that you have values that you can apply in the society in your life so that you can make it happen and live as a human being. I will show you another video if you haven't, just 2 days ago when Meta and Google, well, this is what I'm talking about. We, the people, have power. The first time they had to pay. The people won against Meta and against Google. The people. The jury find them liable of children's death and addiction. Not yesterday, not a year ago, not a decade ago or 2 decades ago. Now. Why now? That's what I'm telling you every single Sunday for years, every week. Where I talk about the weekly empowerment, I'm talking about these world events, historical events, because that's what it is. This time is now. I've been telling this to you since 2023. So screw Jiang. I've been saying since 2023 that we, the people. But Jiang wouldn't say that, because that's not good for China if American people wake up. No. We have to be brainwashed so bad that didn't I tell you, if you follow me sometime, the civil war is coming. Civil war is coming. I'm telling this to you for literally since February 16, 2025. This is what this will bring worldwide. Uprise. Why? I'm telling you, this oil price, oil go up, oil go. What does oil do in our life? It doesn't just operate cars, your car. It operates public transportation. It operates airplanes. It operates the entire transportation of goods, meaning the flour for your bread, the sugar for the produce, the milk. Everything you can think of is run with fuel. And the artifact after in that processing, fertilizers. The fertilizers goes to where? To the produce, fruits, vegetables. What are we talking about? Already the shipment has stopped. They slow down the shipment of items. The shipping will cost more. If you, God forbid, if you are a seller, good luck. The tariff tanked us all because we had to pay more money for the tariffs on top of the exaggerated amount of shipping cost. Good luck if you're a seller. Try to sell something. I haven't sold anything for months. Good luck now. It's not just the oil price, like the tank that you put into your car. It's every facets of our lives will go up. Imagine, like, my parents live overseas. I already cannot see them anytime I want because the airplane prices are absurdly expensive. And now imagine the oil prices going up, the fuel for airplanes. What are we talking about? Also, the medicine manufacturing, right? The raw products that you need to use to make this medicine. Where does it all come from? The medicine price and the fabric to make the medicine, the drugs and the medicine, your insulin, your, injection, your cancer chemotherapy. what are we talking about? And that's why no one is talking about this. And God forbid, I mean, I told you the Trump administration, I mean Trump himself only cares about how can I enrich myself. The cabinet behind is about how can we become white nationalist dictators and who love slavery. That's what they care about, and using Trump for that. Trump only, how can I be more rich? Milk the presidency. And so this is why we have to, all Americans, be very, very cautious of what propaganda we are listening to. I'm telling you, if you are watching one influencer, like, don't even stop. Why? Because they will disappoint you. Like, if this guy, Jiang, comes to breaking point, and still until today, they still have the title as professor, while he's not even a professor, and nobody even questions him. Sagar and Crystal's not a journalist, but Sagar is. He is proudly million times mentioning that. If they don't do it, forget everything. Forget Tucker and all that stuff. Forget that. Forget about it. Doesn't matter anymore. You cannot trust, because that's its lost cause. It's lost. It's over. They were successful in this. If they can manipulate the left, the right, and up and down and everybody with these talking points, it's over. But not yet though, because we are smart. Why? Because first I saw it was Cavernical talks about this. He's from UK, and he studied history and political, I think politics as well. And then I did it. I made videos about it, about him. And now I saw two more. This lady, which I will link down below later, watch her video. She talks about the other Jiang guy who then died after COVID vaccines, or people like, he become this star overnight in China. And I think this guy is also, after he got jailed in China, then started to operate from China. So this is all not, I mean, coincidence. Especially, I'm not just talking about I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. I'm just saying, from the bullshit he's talking about history, I know history. I know geopolitics. I mean, hello? What he says about Germany, and I'm from Germany, you got to be kidding, right? I mean, just the basic. When he says, he literally said, Germany and Japan, they didn't have empires. That's why they are like this. They did not have empires? What? Japan? Do you even follow the news? Like, even now, it's just, what are we talking about? This is not even history. It's real life in Japan. One of my best friends is Japanese, and I don't even have to have a best friend of Japanese. I watch the news. I mean, guys, and yeah, where I want to come at is, stop even the ones you thought, these are my go-to YouTubers, YouTube channels that I get the news from, independent media, whatever the heck that means. No. Because most of them, and nobody talks about this. I'm a scientist, as you know. I am digging in and look at the data and what I saw on my videos, let me tell you, these people commenting and the kind of pushing that forward and bulldozering to other people who are against that person or questioning, not only these are chatbots, but also they are not even living in this country. I know my stats. Only not even 10% in one video, not even 10% are from United States. You can't make this shit up. This is real life data. This is no conspiracy. This is no if. I have the data of my YouTube video where I talk about this. And I also saw that people come to watch that previous video and the previous video literally searching for this guy. And then they run over my video. So, okay, these are not like, oh, maybe. You don't have to be a history genius. You don't have to be a political genius. You have to be geopolitical genius. Apparently, everybody can call themselves a professor who would not even have nothing to do with anything. But you have brain and we have eyes to look into the goddamn data, the stats. And my recommendation, as you are on my channel, is always watch what you read, watch what you listen to, watch what you hear, watch what you watch, read books, open news, read actual news from, if you have a news app, get the news and read them. You will be shocked. Don't want to watch. Maybe you can just run into one or two the videos that may be common, but if you feel like they're just talking some bullshit, move on. And how can you know that they're talking bullshit if it's when you know what's actual fact? Fanatism leads to fanatism. And if that's what they are counting on, you to be dumb so that they can easily manipulate you. It's in fake spirituality cults, fake psychology cults, fake political cults, fake cults, religious cults, all fake shit, because they don't want you to be smart. They want you to be dumb. They tell you, why do you need to go to school? They're all dropouts. Look at, you can be a billionaire. No, that doesn't work that way. We know if to become a billionaire, you need to be somebody like empty eyes, robot, no soul, Mark Zuckerberg. You can be evil like Elon Musk. You can be doing all that shit like Bill Gates, purchasing all the acres of land and have future all the food chains in his hand. You need to have become like Ivanka Trump, who out of a sudden is having all the food markets in her hand, become a food entrepreneur out of nowhere. What's with the food? Bill Gates, now Ivanka Trump. What's with the food? Watch that space. These are not conspiracies. It's in our face. They're telling this to you. All you need to know is to wake up. And as I keep referring to Einstein's quote, I'm paraphrasing, but says something like, question everything in life. That's where your critical thinking starts. Question everything. To me, it's already integrated inside of me. And by nature, I'm like even if I wouldn't be a scientist, actually scientist, I by nature am digging in, and I'm a natural scientist, like analyzing and questioning. And now, as I'm trained as a scientist, not only, as a PhD, right? PhD, the philosophy of the doctorate, meaning like I can bring two and two together and analyze it critically. That's my job and training as a scientist. Scientists don't make shit up. Scientists are not allowed to make shit up. Scientists only speak from the truth and the facts and question even the theories that are published. That's the job of a scientist. Many scientists even don't know that. So it's funny enough. I have to remind multiple times on LinkedIn what the job of a scientist is. And so apparently all MDs think they are scientists. No, sir, no, ma'am, doesn't work that way. You are differently trained. We scientists are differently trained. Even I have a video on my channel, the mentality between MDs and PhDs, because we are trained differently. MDs are more result oriented. Survive or die, black and white. Will that cure or will that not cure? We are like, how will that cure? Or if it cures. If it doesn't, will it kill? If so, how? That's scientist. We don't care about the end result. We want how to get there. Either way, it doesn't matter. This way, how? This way, how? We want to know. And if you say this way, I want to prove this. That's my job to prove it, if this is even accurate. And I can either prove it's accurate or completely disprove it and put this theory out there and prove the fact. That's science. That's the scientist's job. That's the scientist training. And that's, my friend, I'm applying. Oh, I'm doing this as a medical researcher, but I'm applying this in socio-political analysis and socio-psychological analysis, because it's not rocket science to me. All you need to do is, I'm telling you how to do it. You don't have to have a PhD. All you need to do is, if you have an app, of news app, watch on your phone, get the news, read the news. Read it, like actually read it. Not YouTube, just like some influencers telling you 1, 2 things. No, in the background, there's so much shit going on. Nobody talks about it. And I want you, because you're on my channel, I want you to read the other things in the background. Then you have a bigger picture, like, oh my God. Because again, it's not just Israel and Iran. What about Saudi? What is Saudi doing? Saudi has a big stake in this. Saudi is like in Trump's, MBS and Trump are like this, and Jared Kushner. And on this homeland, we have Stephen Miller and all the other people, right? What's going on there? We have, what's the senator? Lindsey Graham, right? So if you read this in the background, you get a better, that's what my recommendation is for you, to have a better understanding of what actually is happening. How Palantir, surveillance, make money off of surveillance with all of this. How and I mentioned this before, and nobody talks about this, how, again, I mentioned this in one of my live streams about how one more time all of these bombs, the technology is being tested. I told you in my live stream that even the Black Hawk, I believe, I don't know, was Black Hawk, or just the brand new first time used technology fighter jet was used ever, first time, be tested for the first time, drones. And how the makers of the bombs and these munitions and all the jets and the bombs, how they give the dark money to nonprofits, and all these people you see on the news, from Fox News all the way NBC, CBS, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, whatever, all the news, they come on and say, did you even hear that they say this is not a good idea? Oh my God, we have to do the regime change. While all the bombs, the brand new bombs, the brand new fighter jets, are all the drones, technology are being used in this one. And I told you with the girls bombing, as I told you, it's the very first target. The very first target was the school. And I told you too, if they go to my channel's shorts, and I have a great video that I told you there are two reasons why I think the girls were bombed first, the very first target. Now I have two more theories. And that's number one of the two, meaning the third, is I believe this was operated by AI, and AI missed the target. Full stop. They missed the target. And the other one is that their surveillance, like the target analysis, were outdated. So they had a different outdated data on where the target was. So, and I strongly believe that this was led by AI, and AI misled the target. But of course, they would never say that. God forbid, with all the $500 billion of investment into AI technology, and with all the bullshit with the OpenAI and the and Cloud, right? That fight and the government contract, because what they want, what the American government wants, is they want to have the ability to spy on regular Americans, but all of us. I'm telling you, didn't I just say, giving the example of the other country, surveillance. Surveillance is a key. That's key. And this government wants to desperately wants to bring that in. The mass surveillance. This is so important to understand. If you watch Kash Patel's non-stop talk in the House and the Senate, every time this surveillance comes up, and he non-stop talks about surveillance. That's what they want to have. Somehow they want that. They still couldn't get it done. Like the people, did you see the robot Melania Trump introduced at the White? Oh my God, don't even get me started. What should I even say about that? What do you think about it? It was just so like bizarre. What the heck was that? Like, what is happening? This is, and what Melania said there, she said at the, like, look at this technology and the future of technology or something like that. Like, so you're telling school children, hey, this is a future, right? Exactly, yeah. Hey, this is a future. Girls, boys, look at this. You go to school because what exactly? That you will be replaced by a robot? Like what are you trying to say? What the heck? Jesus, I mean, I can't. It's just so surreal, dumb. Like, I mean, I don't even know what to say. And what the heck, this French president, the wife of, I mean, why was she there? What's the whole point? Like, what are you doing? And even their teachers will be those weird robots soon. Like, I mean, these people are so out of touch. And I'm glad that you bring this up, because when I said out of touch, let me just mention this and then I will end this. And because I want to do another video, but let me just bring this in here and then I will end that. So I was thinking this 2 days ago about, let me explain people when people get angry about how these elite class is so out of touch, right? Out of touch, tone deaf, out of touch, tone deaf. See, I really don't think people understand the mentality of these elite class. So even if you would have neighbors or people you know are around you, close to you, or like even if you see them every day in your groceries or whatever, people who were from birth like living that lifestyle, okay, like lavish lifestyle, like this Pels, like Pels family, Nicola Pels and all that, when they live since childhood, the entire life, this lavish lifestyle, they never went to grocery store. They never went, I don't know, play street football. They never, I don't know, probably went to like a normal school where they get bullied or something. They probably will both off their teachers, always give them good grades, and they didn't have to fight through if you get a you know, bad score, if even though they try to screw you up for whatever the heck reason, and you had to fight for because it's unfair, unjust, and you try to get justice in school, and then your mom comes, your dad comes, or whatever the heck. You know what I mean? If you think about it, they don't know that stuff. They never did experience anything like this. So that's why people like us get so angry, because they don't understand us. They're so tone deaf. Yeah, they actually don't understand us. They actually don't know what it means to work on a job and try to make meets end. They don't know what that means. Nicola Pels has 8 siblings, and everybody of them gets $1 million a month in their pockets by their dad. $1 million per month in their pocket, for not just because they're their children, and there are 8 of those. So $8 million a month, you know, and you probably work your behind off and watch all YouTube channels Mind-blowing. That's what it is. And that's why I'm telling you, it's the people also who blame them to be out of touch. The people are out of touch too, to not understand these people cannot represent us. Stop voting them in. I screamed my lungs off when, do you remember Andrew? Was it Andrew, the business guy who were running for president, who wanted to give everybody $1,000 standard income? Was this Andrew? Like, you know what I mean, right? The businessman, the Chinese American businessman. Not Chinese American, but like the Asian American. Yang, yeah, exactly, Yang. So I screamed, and he became so popular. Oh my God. I was so scared. I'm like, oh my God. This guy you cannot give them a chance. This is a business guy. We already know what happened with Trump, the first administration. So we need to understand as the people, the public, as the republic of the people, 100%, yeah, exactly, that we cannot vote these goddamn people in. Same thing, I'm telling you, it's not just these people, it's the same thing on the left with AOC. Who the heck is AOC? She's a career politician. I said it since day one. Day one. And these leftist, whatever, talking points, screw that. She's under the wings of Nancy Pelosi, all the votes she did. And the recent talk in Munich, like, what the heck? What was that? So as I keep saying this to every single, yes, she totally is 100%. Yeah, I said it since day one, and I was so pissed when people were so blind about this squat. Like, screw that. They are all career politicians. All of them, including Bernie Sanders. Bernie, if the Bernie is like, yeah, nice, okay, yeah, you think like, oh yeah, but when it comes to it, he can flip like this. He was, of all, right? You would think what he would acknowledge what's happening over there. I'm not telling you what, but I guess you understood when I do this, right? What's happening? He couldn't even acknowledge what's happening, say it out loud. And he's the politician, and now he's like, the people's politicians, yeah, screw that. And he got called out. He couldn't say the word. He couldn't say it. He couldn't do it. Screw that. You're a socialist or whatever who you are, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, if you cannot show it, screw that. You can talk whatever. You can do all the political talks. For decades, he talks the same words over and over and over and over. The millionaires and billionaires and millionaires and billionaires. So I'm sick of it. I can't watch Bernie anymore. Entire 2025, I still today, I can't watch him. I'm so sick of him. I can't. And the other guy, like, I just can't watch these people anymore. I mean, I'm not even talking about Lindsey Graham, but this Kennedy. What the heck is like this arrogance? Like, God damn it. It's just, I can't watch any of these anymore. That's why I'm saying, wake up. We can't trust any of these politicians. They screw us from left and right and up and down and everywhere. I'm telling this to every country, every person in different countries. Stop believing in these politicians. They are what this word says. Politicians. They do politics. That's their job. Screw us with all the political shit. Nobody cares about us. I'm telling you. Nobody. Nobody. If you say you and I, yeah, money, yeah, here, grocery, listen, they didn't even give a shit about these Epstein victims. For 1 year, nobody cared. For decades, nobody cared, but even for the last 1 year, after they came out. And I'm telling Epstein victims, which of course, all of us have a different life story. Like we all have to pay bills to pay. How everybody has a hard life, but they are the Epstein victims. Nobody gives a shit about any of us. So we need to goddamn wake up and stop all the politicians. No. As I keep saying for, I don't know, decades, they work for us. That's democracy. We are the boss. We are the boss. We give them money. It's our money. It's our hard work, swear and tear and cry, all the hard work's money that we give them to say, I'm your boss, do my job, do my work. That's what we are saying to them. But these democracies all over the world, it's so twisted into shit that they made us believe in all the democracies. They made us all, it's all true in other European countries too. They made us believe that these presidents or chancellors, they're all the boss, and we are doing this. We are doing this because they manipulated us so bad with the Hollywood stars. They are the stars, right? And the royals. Oh, the clothing of the royals. And they come up with this gigantic head. And this and that. And the chancellors and the president and the Hollywood star. Screw that. I need to pay my bills. We did it. We do it. Why are we give them this godlike presence of Massey, of Beckham? I don't know. My cousin is a pro athlete, a football star in Europe. I mean, I was a high performance athlete. My dad was competing. I was competing. My cousin is a pro famous athlete, a football star, goalkeeper. So we learn to be humble. That's how we got educated in my family. We all are humble people. We don't brag. I was former Harvard faculty. I was always in Ivy Leagues. I don't come on here imagine that I would talk with Kennedy, right? Senator Kennedy, I was in Harvard. You don't even probably knew that I was from Harvard or all Ivy League. Why? Because this matters. Because we have to be so awake for, see, I'll give you an example. If you drive a car or a bike, doesn't matter. If you drive, you are aware of everything, right? Boom, 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 everywhere, right? This is how we need to be, not like a maniac. You are not driving like a crazy person, right? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You're just like aware, right? Like aware of the surroundings. You're not anxious, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And when people think like, oh, you have to be aware of your surrounding cultures, people immediately in this day and age are like, oh my God, you have anxiety and this will cause anxiety, social anxiety. No, like stop it. Everything is psychology and all that, and all the damage, childhood trauma. Screw all of that. You're not driving like a maniac. You just like are aware of your surroundings. This is how you need to be walking through life. This is how, if you don't follow my every week on Monday, Tuesdays, my neuroscience explanation about amygdala. That's our built-in threat system that functions. That's what it is there for, to detect the threat. When you're driving and you're like, oh my God, a biker, I have to be careful, that's amygdala. The fight, fright, or freeze. And this is the same system. I'm not saying be like a maniac walking around like, oh my God, everybody is like screwing me. No. Just be open eyes, open your ears. And don't believe in everything and just question everything. Don't forget that Einstein's quote, question everything. Don't never forget this analogy. You're driving. Is this a biker? Is this, I don't know, an animal coming? Or you have to be careful. Oh my God, this car coming from here and there. This is how it's supposed to be. And no, I don't ever had people that I like admire like God-like figures, ever. And I had never a person that I compete for. It was me. My competition is me. My 2.0 version. That's who I'm competing for. And also, I'm telling you, let me tell you, if you ever have a person like a star, a Hollywood star or whoever, that you think that's your idol, never idolize anybody. That's number one. Number two, if you ever, let me give you a story. Two people that I 1000% I can tell you. One, let me start from the second one, which is easy. This is quick. And you know. So, do you know Nicole Kidman's Moulin Rouge? That movie? What a beautiful movie, right? So, in that Moulin Rouge, Nicole Kidman was so beautiful. Oh my God. And I absolutely always watched Nicole Kidman. I mean, I watch movies based on the actors. Let's say I definitely always would watch Brad Pitt's movies, Nicole Kidman's, I mean, that time, not now. And Cate Blanchett. What's his guy? The two that play Titanic. The two, Kate Winslet and that other guy. I don't know. I forgot these names. Anyway, but Nicole Kidman at that time, I was like, oh my God, this girl, this woman is so beautiful, so elegant. And I said, okay, from all the Hollywood stars, she is my, like, she is the real one that I really admire. That's what I thought. She's so beautiful, she's so elegant, she's so like quality. That's what. Then, guess what happened? She was invited to one of these evening midnight talk shows, Kimmel or whatever. And then she was sitting, not only was just like the ick, like how below the belt she was nonstop talking. And I'm like, ew, what's this? And then she suddenly jumped and sit on the lap of the guest, a male. And I was like, whoa, what the F is this? Ew, ick. This is not classy. This is what is this? She acted, and the way she talked, slimy and so like cheap. She was actually so cheap. And since then, I get the ick. And then this was like, I don't know, 2 decades ago, or 15, more than 15 years ago. And then lately, last year, when I heard, because all the years I was like, ick, I've never, like, I would nothing to with anything. How dare I thought that she was a classy person looking at Moulin Rouge, right? Or how she looks. Apparently also, no wonder that then it became clear to me, why is she, remember those times when she was together with that scientist, the Scientology guy, Tom Cruise? Remember with that, all the enormous sexuality that they had, I guess, in that movie and stuff. And so how they become so like wildly sexual with each other. And then out of a sudden, because I could never understood that, and then it made more sense because she is that cheap. And then last year, turns out, I don't know if you ever heard that, because I don't know, it just disappeared so quickly, that her father in Australia was indeed the guy who were doing, I don't even know if I heard about that, but that the elite class were doing the children's hunting, if you know what I mean, actual hunting of children. And he had this whole thing going on. And they were even in the house torturing children. And she was seeing even this, all of this. She was in there. So this is who she is. This is how she grew up. And this is exactly how she is who she is. And that whole sexual thing, this absurd sexual, overly, wildly sexual thing with Tom Cruise, is actually indeed who she is. And that jumping on other man's lap as a guest in a talk show, that's, I guess, normal for her, because a cheap person only would do that. That's number one. Because I give you, that's the easy example. That's because you know her. The other one was, when I was in college, I was studying a lot, 3 years, entomology. This is insect science. And so I studied the details of every insect with a key, and every insect I could analyze and find out what species they are, okay? And so then every 3 months, I was getting journals which called Today's Biology. That was in German. And I was one of those in my college and the entire school rare ones that knew German. And so then there was this huge article about the Nobel Prize winner, Christiane, I'm telling this out loud, Christiane Nüsslein-Volhard. She was a lady who won the Nobel Prize with dissecting Drosophila, the fruit fly, and analyzing the body parts of the entire body of the fruit fly, meaning which all the neurological parts and how does all these parts function, that she won the Nobel Prize, physiology. And then I was like so mind blown by that. And I was like, oh my God. And then during college, we founded a journal, biology journal, a group like five or so of us. We founded a biology journal. Actually, I just remember this because I put it nowhere in my resume or something. I just realized I forgot that. So we founded a biology journal in our school. And then in one meeting, I said, oh my God, this is like so incredible. This woman got the Nobel Prize, and I want to translate this article into the language, and so in a different language, and then I would like to publish that to. They're like, okay, fine, and this will be in the midsection, like an important midsection of the journal. I did all the translation. I was out of my mind. I was like so studied all of this, what she studied, and like I was so well versed. Even my professors, they're like, oh my God, how do you even know all of this, right? And then years passed by. I finished college. I was like so in awe with her, right? She's like, oh my God, like this women, right, got the Nobel Prize and the insect biology, and like, oh my God, like, oh, right. Years passed by. I finished college. I finished master's. I finished PhD. After PhD, I researched, and then I came to Harvard and as a postdoc. And then in my second or third year or so, I pass by my bike through Harvard Square and Harvard College, because I was in a hospital, but more Harvard College in the campus, in the science center. I saw a flyer on that science center says, Christiane Nüsslein-Volhard is coming to give a talk. I was like, what is happening? I was like, oh, I mean, I will be there. I don't care. I was like taking pictures, like, okay, I will be 1,000,000,000% there. And I so randomly, it's not even on my way. It's just, I don't even know why I made the curve towards the Harvard yard and to Science Center. So apparently I had to see that. The day came, I went to the Science Center to the talk. Amphi was full of people. Oh my God. This already an old lady, white hair, 70s. Jesus, I could not understand a word she was talking about. Her English was so bad, like so bad. Not even German English, like, this is very good, right? Like, so bad English. And she was from Max Planck Institute. Like, did you ever give a talk? in English, like, you're a freaking full professor, right? And I was like, oh, what is this? Okay. That was like, okay, fine, but, then it ended, and then there was a reception. And of course, there was all the Harvard students there, undergrad, grad, like doctors, I don't know, whatever, professors, like from all ages, right? And we were all there, and so we all took some like food on the hands or out to drink, and then I immediately went to her, and I told her, like, listen, your article, your Nobel Prize article, your work, I translated your work in another language, and we put it in a journal that we founded, and since then I was been following your work, and I was so excited, blah blah blah. And we were just like, then other people joined, like, listening, right? So I was talking to her, she was like, listening to me, and then other people came in, like students, and then it kind of went a little bit, and then everyone was more crowded, the room was crowded, reception, so everybody was getting the food, and obviously she couldn't get the food because she was just like surrounded by people. And then when other people wanted to tell her something, or want to talk with her, she suddenly were so like angrily mad and saying like, I need to get to the food. Like, she was just kind of like so pissed and so mad and angry, and like this these angry old ladies. She turned into that. Maybe she always was like that. And she was so rude to the people, to the students who came to her, who like so excited. And imagine you're at Harvard undergrad and you have a Nobel Prize winner, a woman, and you came to Harvard from Germany. I mean, of course you're excited. Of course you will just like clutch on it, right? And most likely, like as I was a student, this was like ideal, like, oh my God, like I can be like her, right? And then she just literally was so rude to the other ones, not to me, but I was like this. And then other people came because we were talking. She was listening like that, not too friendly, but like still like interested, listening, normal. And then other came down. She kind of like, yeah, I had to go and eat something. And she pushed off the people, and she would angrily bulldozered out. I was like, whoa, that is so rude. Like, do you have even manners? What was that? I was so got the ick of it. And since then, I don't even want to hear that word. And since then, and that was 15 years ago, or 17 years ago, I 1000% that I would say I admire, oh, look up to these people, or that person, so, oh God, no. All I can tell you is always try to be your best. Screw and don't even look at other people, don't even idealize anybody. Idealize your 2.0 version, which I'm teaching on my channel here with all my deep dive neuroscience, practical neuroscience. Try to target and idealize who is your 2.0 version. That's it. No politicians, no Hollywood movie stars, no professors, obviously, even not, I'm telling you, even not Nobel Prize winners. Forget that. I mean, in Harvard, even on the coffee line, there were always on the coffee line, Nobel Prize winners. They come on, like you see them with shorts and stuff. I mean, I was surrounded with all of these Nobel Prize winners, but this lady was just something else. She was like a bitch. And you're like, I don't need this. I don't care how good your science is. Granted, fine. I'm a good scientist too, whatever. I don't need to idealize anybody. And this is the truth and reality, and many people forget that. The same thing, I can't stand a second of these UK royal stuff. Like in this day and age, I keep saying this for 2 decades. We are in a freaking 21st century. What the F are we still talking about royals? Like what royals? We are in a goddamn 21st century. And I saw today, and not today, this week, like 2 days ago, and that gave me the ick when an old lady, and even this broke the protocol, where all the first prince supposed to be bowed to, and then the princess, whatever, but it was bowed to the princess ahead of the prince, which is against the rules. Like, but then I thought the person who bowed to the princess was a girl, because from the far it looked like a little girl. But then when I read the article, I was like, that sounds weird. Let me look at again to the picture. And then I saw this was an older lady. And the way this princess looked down on her, like, like down on this older lady. Maybe even older than her mother. Screw that shit. That sucks. Like, how? I don't know. I mean, what kind of world are we living in? This is normal for democracies like us. When we grew up in democracy, this sucks. This is not normal. Like, imagine, I mean, for me, even as a scientist, when I go to, and I'm an accomplished scientist, when I go to other countries, to conferences, I even had that when there was this women postdoc or something, not that young, and she came to me, can I take a picture with you? Oh my God. I was like, all this time like a celebrity or something. And she's like, can I take a picture with you? Please, can I take a picture with you? I was like, oh my God, sure. I felt so uncomfortable, because I don't want people to see me as like here. This has nothing to do with, I don't deserve to be looked at. It has nothing to do with that. But I feel uncomfortable because my brain, I cannot register somebody beneath me. I just can't. It doesn't matter if I was all in the Ivy Leagues and all that and award winning, doesn't matter. I mean, this is a human being, I'm a human being, and obviously she's a scientist too, and maybe she's in a faculty. She's also in her right accomplished too. The same, do you see what I mean? Like, I don't want people to look up to anybody in that way, like as if like, oh my God, please, let me take a picture with you. No. Even like when I went to New York one time, this was a decade ago, in Central Park, there was this huge Turkish, I don't know, festival or something like that, where all the famous, ultra famous musicians came. All like really, really known musicians and very big shots, that is. And I don't know how I got literally very at the front of the stage, literally facing them. And one of the artists that I really like since the 90s, and I was like, oh my God, she's right there. Like, she's actually right there next, like, to a few people. Like, she was standing also watching as she was also singing there. And then the festival went on, I mean, ended, and we walked out from the Central Park and we walked on a sidewalk. Then a taxi cab stopped right next to us. And I was with a friend. And then three people came out of that taxi cab. And one of them was her. I was like, oh my God. And I went to her, it's like, oh my God, I love your music so much since the 90s, especially this song. It's so like the famous song that I mentioned her. It's like, I love that song. We all watched, listened it, and so on. And listen, I was at that time at Harvard. I was a postdoc, okay? And I know I look young, but, and imagine even that time I was look much younger, like a student or something. I don't know. But she, as I was talking to her, you know, when you hold like a kid's like chin like this, oh, like that, you know, right? She was holding my chin like this, and she's like, oh. I was like, what the hell? I was like, are you nuts? I was thinking, like, what the hell is she doing? Like, I'm not a little kid. I mean, she was sweet, cute, but this is like too much. Like, shut up. I was like, oh, okay, fine, boom. Do you see what I mean? Like, this was by far nothing bad, but still kind of like, you, who would you do that to? Like, I'm like a lady, like, right? I'm a postdoc. I'm not a little kid, like 5-year-old. So I don't know, so bizarre. Like, these people think they can do that, and it's normal. Coming back to why I told all of this is that's normal, which for people like us, it's not normal. It's what the heck are you doing, right? This is why I'm telling you, we need to stop thinking, these elite are tone deaf. No, they are like that. Start accepting that they would never understand us, full stop. They would never know what it means to have 3 jobs, 5 jobs, I don't know, plus medical condition, plus medical debt, plus school debt, plus, I don't know, mortgage, plus a school, plus whatever, children, daycare. Screw all of that. Screw that. It's time to wake up and to see where we actually are. And those people are not our friends. Meaning, not in that case of they're our enemy. I'm telling, meaning they do not understand us. They do also not represent us. We tell them how to represent us as a title of representatives of the people. And we tell them, this is how you represent us. Not your way, my way. Because your title is representative of me. And I'm telling you how to represent me. Make sense? If you think that way, next time you vote, Next time when I give a million times on my YouTube channel, call your representative, call your representative, call tomorrow, this vote is this, Tuesday, vote is this for, call your representative right now. Take that in your consideration, in your mind. I will tell them how to represent me. This is why I keep doing the calls, call your representatives, and nobody, I haven't seen any YouTuber ever do this. And I'm doing this for years, since COVID. And I got kind of famous. I was at that time, I was on Twitter. I quit before Musk took over, because I know exactly, because China has a hold of Elon Musk. I make multiple videos on my channel, watch it. I have tons of videos about Elon Musk. I have tons of videos about him. He has like a big chunk from China. That's why I knew it the moment he would take over Twitter. It's done. It's like TikTok. The Chinese would take over. And then, voila, I'm telling you, if you're new here, hi, I can make predictions, and it was always accurate. 1 year later, not even 1 year, 6-8 months later, I even made a video on that. It got hacked into. So, this is big stuff. Tech. Think about tech. Think about manipulation by an educator who know exactly the speech. Fast, slow. Fast lying, slow, maybe accurate. This is manipulation. And I teach you the practical neuroscience so that you can understand that, okay? So leave it at that. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for the interaction, your comments on the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you will have a phenomenal weekend. And yeah, open your eyes, your ears, open a book and read all the news yourself. Don't trust the YouTubers, because who knows what's going on there. Apparently, you cannot trust them anymore, right? And trust your own gut, trust your own brain. That's all what I can tell you. Okay, sending you so much love. Okay, just give you a heads up, if you're new here, this is how we do it. On Sunday we will do, weekly, we do every week for 52 weeks deep dive practical neuroscience every week. So follow that. Those are published on Monday or Tuesdays. And then on Sunday, we do the relaxed practical application of what we learned on Tuesday. And then every week it replies like that. And then on Friday nights, we have a regular Friday Night Live where I discuss, critically analyze the world events. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Dr. Aygun Shaheen, sending you so much love and a big hug. Good night. Bye-bye.